Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Market Insights with Linux, and welcome to this new video right here on Nvidia. This weekly update on Nvidia. If you're interested in more updates on Nvidia, consider subscribing. But for now, I'm doing it once a week, and then if there's major news for Nvidia specifically, or if there's major price action, then I'll do another update. So keep your eyes on the channel if you're interested in that. But in this video, obviously, we're just going to do a full update right here. We'll start off all the way zoomed out, as you can see, but I'll first do a bit of an update on the video I made last week regarding Nvidia and kind of talk about, all right, well, where are we? Then I'll delete those arrows, and then we take a look at the higher time frames, which my thoughts on the higher time frames have not changed, but the lower time frames and obviously the fundamentals have changed. So I do think we need to talk about that a little bit more once we talk about the short-term expectations here. But for now, let's do a bit of a recap of last week. Last week, what I said is this, that I expected. So that is, well, what is it? It was like, I think it was around Wednesday the 11th, right? So what I said is this, right? So that we would consolidate down here, and that then eventually I would still expect us to rally into those previous all-time highs, which quickly getting into the daily time frame here is right here around 147 all the way up to 150, although the absolute all-time high is at 153. So that is what we did. Although we reached a little bit higher, I would argue that at least for the short term, and obviously we'll still get into that in a moment, but I do think this price action will continue, right? On the 1 hour time frame, after the fundamentals changed, or at least after the heightened tensions in the Middle East, Thursday and Friday last week, we dropped down a little bit below the 1 hour time frame. Look, the 1 hour time frame at this point of time still is bullish. The 4 hour time frame is also still bullish. So I actually do think we can rally a little bit higher into those previous all-time highs than now, right? So I still do think this is most likely. And then what I said last time is that from there I expected some sort of a deviation above that area of the all-time highs and a bit of a pullback. Now I would say a pullback like this is a little bit over the top, but purely technically it is a possibility, right? Because looking at the higher time frames, what you can see is that Nvidia, with the price action we had over the course of May, has broken back into this beautiful range right here between 130 and 150. We're now reaching the top of that range, 150, and like I said, on the lower time frames, I still think we can get there. But to break out of that, I'm not convinced we can, right? I mean, I think fundamentally, like, things can happen that can push us above that level. For example, if we get some sort of a trade deal between the US and China that is favorable for Nvidia chips, right? So that they can actually export those with less restrictions, then that's billions and billions of extra revenue and profit that they can make, and then we can certainly break out, right? So if the fundamentals are right, I think we can break out, but right now there's so many fundamental kind of areas where bearish pressure can come from. And then outside of that, on the higher time frames, like I said, it's such a strong resistance level. 150 also being a major psychological resistance level, of course, although that is, I would say, not the most important. Makes me think, going back down to the lower time frames, that for now we can support and respect the main support levels we have, and we can rally up higher. I think that's possible as well, but from there I do expect a pullback. And then, like I said, a pullback all the way back into 130, 132, I think that's unlikely, right? That it is a possibility, especially if fundamentals, bearish fundamentals start flaring up again. But for now, I would say this area right here around 138.5, which is kind of the POC area, the point of control area, is more likely to serve as interim support then. But that is what I still do expect, right? So on the lower time frames, I'm still bullish, but should you buy Nvidia right now? Look, if you think it's a great company, which I would fully understand and I agree with, I would just continue with the way you're buying Nvidia, right? If you're DCAing or if you have some sort of a different strategy. But for a trade, I would say a long from current areas is not the best idea. Shorting also definitely not, but I would wait for some sort of a pullback, like I said, into that area around 138, especially if it coincides with the 4 hour trend right here. In combination with that POC, of course, then that looks like a better trade opportunity. But those are my thoughts on Nvidia for now. Long term, short term, hopefully everything you need to know. I wanted to talk about a little bit more news, which I forgot, but that's also not as relevant for now, right? But I'll keep you updated on that. For now, that's it. Like I said, if you enjoy this content, continue or consider subscribing. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.